I put the AK, the FAMAS, and the FCAR through the gauntlet to figure out which medium class AR is actually the best. So say goodbye to double guessing whether or not you're running the best loadout, because in this video, I'll share real data produced by real science by a real scientist wearing a lab coat. Yeah, I didn't have a lab coat, so this is the best I could do. I'm sorry. Anyway, so here's what I did. I slapped the red dot on every gun, which I already proved to be the best sight in one of my most popular videos, link in the description. Next, I ran the shooting gallery challenge on standard difficulty a total of 20 times per weapon. Now I split those 20 rounds into two different tests. For the first test, I switched weapons after every single round, starting with the AK, then the FAMAS, and finally the FCAR, and I did that until I completed 10 rounds with each weapon. Yeah, that means I had to quit the shooting gallery and re-equip the next gun after each round. It was painful, but nobody ever said science was easy. Now I did this to cancel out as much of the warmed up bias as possible. That thing where the more I use a weapon, the better I get just from being more comfortable with it. And by switching weapons constantly, I was forced to rely on the weapon rather than my muscle memory. Now for the second part, I did the opposite, where I stuck with one gun for 10 runs straight. AK first, then the FAMAS, and then the FCAR. And after every single run in both of my tests, I recorded how long it took me to finish the challenge, and the weapon with the quickest average times was officially crowned as the first champion in
Glitchy's first ever weapon Olympics!
Alright, so before we get to the results, let's talk predictions. Now if I had to bet on a winner going in, I would pick the FAMAS, mainly because it's a burst fire weapon, which means its recoil is a little easier to control. And with the bot's movement being fairly simple, aiming for and landing headshots is not that difficult, especially when compared to a fully automatic like the AK or FCAR. So yeah, I'm expecting the FAMAS to win. And so with that out of the way, let's dive into the results. Now the first award of the day goes to the weapon that improved the most from the first part of my test to the second, and that goes to the AK. And so for the first part, when I was switching weapons after every round, the AK averaged a time of 46.88 seconds across 10 rounds. And as for the second part, when I used each weapons 10 times straight, the AK improved to an impressive 43.06 seconds, shaving almost 4 seconds from its average time. Now let's talk about raw speed. Which gun produced the fastest time for a single round? Now it wasn't the AK, and it wasn't the FAMAS. It was the FCAR, which clocked in its fastest time at 34.60 seconds. And what's crazy about that is that this run happened during the chaos of test number 1, the one where I was switching weapons after every round. I would have bet my entire inventory of legendary cosmetics that my best run would have happened during test 2, when I was locked in with one weapon. But nope, the FCAR came in hot and took gold in this 100-meter sprint. And for reference, the slowest time for a round goes to the AK with a time of 55.70 seconds. But that was literally on the very first run when I was least warmed up. So take that with a huge grain of salt. And now for the most important award, the trophy for the weapon with the best overall average time across all of its runs, proving without a doubt which medium AR is the best. And to my surprise, that honor goes to the FCAR, which averaged the quickest times for both parts of my test, 41.09 seconds for part 1 and 40.12 seconds in part 2. This means that the FCAR didn't just have the fastest round, it also had the best consistency. And I'm not surprised. The FCAR's been my go-to medium AR for a while, and now I have the data to back it up. So yeah, I was pretty happy to get these results. So let's wrap this up with some final charts and numbers. Here are the highest and lowest times per weapon across all of their runs. And finally, here are the median times for each weapon. So there you go. These weapon Olympics are officially over, and the FCAR walks away with the gold. But I want to hear from you. What gun do you trust most in your medium class loadout? Drop your favorite AR in the comments and tell me why it works for you. And I'll catch you on the next one. Glitchy out.